All right, one more thing on our bold preseason predictions that went wrong. We're going to revisit our preseason predictions, David, and a little caveat here. The assignment before the year was bold predictions. So by definition, we were probably going to be wrong on them. So you can't hold this against us. But I will preface this by saying batting average was not very high on these.
Mendoza line even? We were at 200 or worse?
We didn't make it to Mendoza, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. This is pretty. So I don't know how much of this you remember. I did not. I didn't send this to you ahead of time before we recorded this.
I purposely stayed away from watching the video just so I could be shocked and awed at how bad our predictions were.
So we actually broke this up into 4 categories, so to speak. We had sure things.
Yeah.
We had our reach predictions, and then we had our super bold predictions, and then we had a couple of loose end predictions at the end that we threw in there too. So we'll start with the sure things.
Okay.
And we actually nailed the first one.
Nice.
And it's all downhill from there. But the first one was Tyler Hero will lead the team in scoring.
Okay.
We nailed that. That was pretty. I'm not going to give us too much credit for that, but that was that. I don't know. I guess you could have argued that Jimmy Butler would have, but yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about Bam emerging as a possible MVP candidate based on the fact that he was going to shoot threes.
Point.
So that didn't work.
The reason we did that was we were talking about strong preseason performance, increased comfort in his role, and all these things. All of that stuff ended up being true. Our next prediction was Bam will attempt over 300 3-pointers and make 35% of them. I think I predicted this, and you pushed back on me and called me crazy.
Yes. So I'm going to take a victory lap on that one because I remember even at the time you were talking about insanely high volume, and I was like, come on, this is Bam. There's no way he's going to do that. So
he's taken like 10 a game in the preseason, in my defense. But okay, you get the W on this. Can I get half credit on it? He took 221 threes, which is pretty close.
A lot.
And he did make 35.7%. So I said he's going to make 35%, and he did. He went above that. So I can get half credit?
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. That's as good as it gets from us.
That's all the good news.
This was you. The Heat will lead the league in steals as a team, with Jimmy Butler potentially leading the NBA in individual steals. This was dead wrong. Miami finished 15th. Butler didn't even crack the top 30 in steals per game. What do you have to say for yourself?
I think we saw the style of play that they wanted to maintain over the course of the season. And I think it would have followed the pattern had Jimmy tanked the beginning of the season and kind of not played for most of it. And I'm just not even saying the suspensions, but he was kind of half out there even while he was out there. He was hurt for a few of those games. He was clearly dogging it. And I think that was the intent. They looked like there was going to be an aggressive team defensively. It just didn't work out that way. I'm surprised they finished at 15th. That's probably would have been a little higher than I would have expected them to. But I thought based on what we saw in the preseason, something to remember, that they were fantastic. They were clearly, I think you and I both were pretty confident. Oh, yeah, they're going to lead the league in steals. Didn't work out that way. Huh?
Yeah, I guess we didn't watch enough of the Thunder preseason games because they definitely did. To your point, Miami was 9th in the league in steals before January 1st, basically before Jimmy Butler whole hog quit on the team. They were still pretty far. They're at 9 steals per game. Oklahoma City was at 12. Atlanta was second at 10.5, but nobody also saw Dyson Daniels coming, who was responsible for like half of those. All right, those were our reach predictions. Our bold. No, I'm sorry. We had one more reach prediction. Miami. This is so bad. Miami's offense will crack the top 12 in offensive rating. Wrong. Back in the bottom 10 for the 3rd straight season. All right, bold predictions. The Heat will secure a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Wrong. Again.
I think I had that one, didn't I? Or was that
might have been you. That might have been you. I think I was predicting top 6. You went so far as to say top 4. We were both wrong. But it was bold. I even think I remember this being pretty bold for the preseason.
Yeah. No, I really I was really counting on a lot more. I thought Jimmy was going to have a full buy-in year. And that being the case, we thought the roster was going to be better, that Terry Rozier was going to be healthy, a new Tyler, an improved Bam. We saw a lot of good things during the preseason. Preseason, again, caveat. But it was just the expectation was that they were going to be fully engaged at trying to maximize this last one season. And no, that was not the case. Things did not work out that way. They were not maximized. They were not engaged. They were kind of like, really, we don't really care. And hence the sub 500 record.
Is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments, whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player. There's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Right now, the Thunder and Celtics are favorites to win the championship. If you think it'll be anybody else, you could get pretty good odds. Nuggets plus 2,000. Is it crazy to think that the Pacers could do it at plus 1,400? I don't know if I'm picking any of them, but those are pretty good odds to sprinkle your allowance on. Are you new to FanDuel? It's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. The last three additional predictions that we threw in here at the end of the bold prediction show. Teams will inquire about Haywood Highsmith at the trade deadline. He obviously did not get traded. I don't know that we know of any Highsmith trade scenarios. Maybe there was situations in the Butler. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that we know. Whatever. Yeah.
As a
maybe
throw-in. Yeah. Nobody was calling and saying, hey, you know what? We're a contending team X. We really need 3-and-D star Haywood Highsmith to kind of.
Yeah, I thought he could have been cheaper Dorian Finney-Smith, I recall, if Brooklyn wouldn't come off of the whatever it was, like they were asking for 2 first-round picks for DFS or something. I was like, well, if they don't come off of that, maybe somebody can look for poor man's Finney-Smith and get Highsmith. Anyway, another prediction. Miami will have 2 All-Stars. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Wrong on both counts, and it ended up being the other guy. It ended up being Tyler Hero. So you're wrong on that. And then here's the doozy. The Heat's closing lineup will feature Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Bam Adebayo. So wrong. 3 of those guys ended up not being in the closing lineup between Rozier
playing.
Rozier not playing, Jaquez out of the rotation, Jimmy Butler gets traded midseason. We couldn't have been more wrong. The lesson here is that preseason really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And Bam can go out and take 23-point attempts in the pink and white game. And it's not, none of this is going to matter.
I think we could go even one step further and say we could make our preseason predictions right now without even knowing what the roster is, and we have just as much a chance of getting it right as we do had we just actually waited till October 15th or whatever.
Bold prediction?
Bold prediction.
2026 champions?
Yeah, that's really bold. Really bold.
This has been one more thing.
Giannis Antetokounmpo here.
Yeah, there you go. Giannis, MVP, Finals MVP, wearing a Heat jersey. That's been one more thing. Thanks for making Locked On Heat your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night, until an NBA champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts.